Folktales. Have you ever heard of folktales before? How about Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk, Chicken Little, or The Tortoise and the Hare? Folktales are found around the world and can be told differently depending on who is telling the story. You may be wondering what a folktale is exactly. Well, folktales are stories passed down from generation to generation by word of mouth, or also known as oral tradition. They are made up to teach morals and lessons. When looking at folktales, it is important to identify the specific genre of folktale the story is from. Different types or genres of folktales are titled as fables, fairy tales, tall tales, legends, and myths. Fables are stories that teach a lesson or have a moral. Usually, the main characters are animals with human characteristics. Even though there is a moral, it's not always just given to you. Most times when you read a fable, you have to infer what the moral really is. Some examples are Tortoise and the Hare and the Ant and the Grasshopper. Fairy tales include magic and often have good and evil characters. Sometimes they begin with once upon a time, but their conflicts are resolved through kindness, courage, or even intelligence. Examples are Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and Aladdin. Tall tales are hero stories and often have exaggerated elements. What exaggerated elements means is that you may question whether or not those things could really happen in real life. Some examples are Paul Bunyan and Johnny Appleseed. Legends are non-historical or unverifiable stories handed down by tradition from earlier times and popularly accepted as true or historical. Some examples are Robin Hood and the Sword in the Stone. Myths have to do with the early history of people or explaining some natural or social phenomenon and typically involve supernatural beings or events. Some examples are Pandora's Box, Zeus, and Daedalus and Icarus. Now remember, when analyzing folktales or trying to figure out if a story is a folktale, think of what makes the story a folktale, which type or genre the folktale is, and what elements of a folktale does the story have.